Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for iPad today is provided by Cachefly at CACHEFLY.com.
Coming up, selective social apps, only for the people you really, 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 really like.
Plus iOS hints, Obama's secret iPad, and you can put your Instagram pics on canvas or magnets.
That's right. All that plus peanuts, and not the kind you eat. Secret on iPad today.
iPad Today is brought to you by Go to My PC. The holidays, bad weather, sick days can keep you out of the office, but not from getting work done. Visit GoToMyPC.com for your free 30-day trial. Use the promo code iPad. And by Ford, featuring available Sync with Myford Touch. Sync with Myford Touch gets you to your destination with integrated turn-by-turn directions and directional arrows displayed on screen. Check it out in the new 2012 Ford Focus and at Ford.com/technology. And by the Epson Workforce Pro, the world's fastest two-sided printer. Engineered for productivity, it delivers high-speed, automatic, two-sided color printing, copying, scanning, and faxing to keep your business running at full speed. Plus, you'll save on ink. The Epson Workforce Pro. Check it out at Epson.com. I don't think I gave away the secret with my singing.
No. When I see the two of us dancing in the old cottage, it's like when we were young.
Yeah, 6 months ago. We'll record a new one dancing in this cottage.
It was a year and a half ago.
It is. This is episode 75.
That's right.
How did we get that far, that fast?
Very good question.
Very quickly.
I thought around week 52 this would all die out, and here we are, still doing the show.
Hello, Sarah Lane.
Hi, Leo. How are you?
I'm going to announce my retirement today, and
no,
that's Regis.
Stop.
I am staying here.
Thank God.
Today we're going to do something that was inspired by a new iPhone app, because that's a little weird, a little different.
So we're talking about Path, and I said to Leo, okay, let's do a theme about social apps that are for a select group of people rather than social, where you want to amass followers and have as many people following you as possible.
So a little bit of history here. Dave Morin, who used to work at Facebook, left Facebook, and almost exactly a year ago, in November of 2010, he started a company called Path.
Right.
And the first application was very strange. It was a social application. You'd put pictures or status updates on there. It was for the iPhone. But the kind of secret sauce was you can only have 50 friends.
Yes. It was the antithesis of Facebook. And from him, coming from Facebook, it was intriguing because you think, well, he knows stuff that we don't know, and he thinks that this is going to be a hit. So they had a lot of interest off the bat, but it wasn't
very compelling.
It was really based on sharing photos.
Right.
And we already had Instagram, and Instagram was on the rise at the time. And it's like, well, if I take a cool picture, I want to share it with more people rather than less. And I didn't even have 50 people who were on Path that I wanted to share my stuff with. I stopped using it.
Me too.
Around, I think, March of this year was my last update until Path 2.0 came out.
Just 2 days ago.
Yeah.
And it's awesome.
It's a completely different app.
First of all, they increased the number to 150. I think even 150 is plenty. But it's not. The whole idea is it's your friends. It's not a public thing. You're not going to have 5,000 followers on there. It's your friends. But the new user interface is gorgeous. Now, normally we don't cover iPhone apps, but look how nice this looks on the iPad. It actually works quite well on the iPad.
What's nice is that
this is doubled, right? 2x.
Yeah, this is 2x. However, the photos look perfectly good. I mean, that's an iPhone photo that is... The nice thing about Path is it's actually using the full resolution of your photos.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. Okay, so that's why it looks so good.
Something like this looks so good on the iPad. And what I just did here in this plus area...
To me, this is the future of user interface design on the iPhone and the iOS. It's incredible. Press the plus button, and you get to choose whether you want to take a picture.
You want to take a picture. You want to say who you're with. You want to tell people where you are. You want to tell people what you're listening to. You want to just have a little thought.
Text message.
Or maybe you're going to bed.
I love the go to sleep feature.
Like, okay.
You're telling your friends, night-night, I'm going to sleep.
Yeah. And then Path does this neat thing where it's like, here's what the moon looks like at 1:43 p.m. I have been asleep for 8, 9, 10. Okay, I'm awake.
Then you're awake, and then watch. It'll say,
Sleeping in Petaluma, awake in Petaluma. Now that
Sleep?
you might say, well, that's a little silly. I think that the Path team is kind of just playing around.
I like
with
it.
all of the functionality they can add into this little area. I mean, look at the animation here.
It looks a little bit like the Facebook timeline that Facebook still hasn't rolled out. It has not exactly friction-free sharing, but it's fairly friction-free. You do have to go into the app.
You also have what people who use the new timeline functionality of Facebook
That's
will
what I
find
mean.
familiar.
It looks like Facebook.
Yeah, well, it's like
You've
this is
got
my
a
profile
title
picture,
and
but then I put this nice picture
You
of
must
an
like
Anchor
beer.
Steam beer. I like it very much.
It kind of says who you are.
Right, yeah. Here's my friend Spencer's at the Apple Genius Bar. I mean, look how nice that photo is. That's just full res.
This replaces, or it has the functionality of Instagram, of Foursquare, of Twitter, of Facebook. It's music sharing. It combines a lot of features. And I love these little smiley face comments people can put. It even tells you, which is interesting, when somebody looks at your stuff but doesn't comment on it.
No, this is the
Isn't that
only
weird?
thing that I am slightly uncomfortable with.
I like it.
Well, you like it
People
because
stalk me, and I want to know who's stalking me.
For clarification, you know how every once in a while those viruses will go around like, find out who's viewed your profile on Facebook, and they're never true because it's impossible to do stuff
But
like that.
people want to know that.
People want to know that because it's like a masochistic thing, you know?
Right.
You just want to know if somebody you care about is looking at your stuff or vice versa. Path actually has that functionality built in, and you think, oh gosh, I don't want Tom Conrad to know that I looked at his picture. But why wouldn't I? Because he's my loved one. He's my really good friend. That's why he's...
Tom Conrad?
Yeah, he's a good friend.
I didn't know that.
Well, that's the Path people say this is if you add somebody to your Path, it's because they're a loved one.
Oh dear,
it's
I better
not
start.
a follower.
I better get some people
it's
off.
It's not an acquaintance.
Off
I
my
know exactly.
path.
So I'll go
Holy
ahead
cow,
and
I
I'll
had
give him
no
a winky
idea I had
face
to love them.
and kind of freak him out. But yeah, so what Tom can see now is like, I loved it. MG liked it. There was a little comment here, but he can see all the people who've just looked at the picture in general.
Right.
So Hunter looked at his picture and didn't say anything. So it's like, all right, well, whatever. So Path is, I mean, it's kind of a fascinating thing.
I think it's very well done. I'm a big fan of it. Now, you know that this company, Dave, because he's Dave Morin, because he came from Facebook, they received more than $25 million in venture capital. In fact, the rumor was, and I don't know if it's true, but TechCrunch reported last spring that Google had offered him $100 million to buy the company, and he turned them down.
I remember that, actually.
At the time, I thought, this is odd, because the path of that time was not going anywhere. Maybe Dave knew something. This is a very interesting app. Now, you know, it's well done. It's beautiful. It has all the features that true geeks want, but it is also in a very crowded field. People have invested in Instagram. They've invested in Foursquare. They put their time, energy, heart, and soul into these apps. Moving them all to Path is going to be tough. Plus, it can't be used as a broadcast medium. It's really, you're only sharing with no more than those 150 loved ones.
And I think that is something that we talked a little bit about this on TNT yesterday. That's something I still struggle with because I've just gotten so used to being very public.
Right.
I don't really use any of the functionality within Facebook or Google Plus, for example, where you can add somebody to a list and then just share with certain people on a certain list. I mean, I do to an extent, but Path kind of...
Well, it's for your friends and family. It's for really people who... I think loved ones is apt. It's people you really want to share your life with, and you might share it a lot because it really is set up to be very active. And I have to say, I like it a lot. In fact, I think it's kind of might replace Foursquare and Instagram.
I like it too, and I think that if enough people can kind of get their heads around the idea that you don't have to share everything with the world.
Right.
Some things just, not enough people will even appreciate it. It's for people that you know, who know you, who are going to get something out of this picture. You don't have to put an Instagram filter on it and a clever, witty caption. It's more of the path of your life, of course, is what they want people to say.
Well, and that's one thing that worries me, because I'm putting this all into this app, and I would love it if there were a way to maybe send it to Facebook or save it or put it on my web page, because right now...
Well, you can post stuff to Facebook.
From Path? Oh.
Yeah.
Is there a thing that says whenever you post on Path, it goes to your Facebook?
Well, you can choose to send a moment to Facebook, and then only the people that are your Path friends will see that on Facebook, because obviously there would be privacy issues otherwise. You know, there was a Next Web article yesterday. I forget who wrote the article itself, but it was really interesting, and they pretty much said Path is amazing in all the ways that the Facebook app isn't, whether it's iPhone or iPad. And Facebook, they're setting themselves up for a perfect acquisition.
Yes.
Facebook was smart. They'd buy this app, and that's what the Facebook app would look like.
But you got to think, if Dave turned down $100 million from Google, he's not going to go back to Facebook. I don't know. I think this is a very interesting app. I'm enjoying it, and it gave rise to our theme for today.
That's right.
Which is?
Social apps for real friends. Not we met on the internet once. Right. Now I have to follow you everywhere, and I feel bad if I don't. Not... I met you at a party once, and I don't even really like you that much. Apps that are meant for you to connect with your actual real friends, which is it's kind of this concept we're getting away from.
Well, and there's all this social pressure to friend people that you never met before.
That's right.
Or that you met briefly, or that you know online. And I feel pressured by that. I'm sure most people do.
I do too.
Yeah.
Especially if you don't friend somebody and then eventually you're going to see them at South by Southwest and it's just awkward and it's like, why do we feel like we have to act this way?
Right.
Just shouldn't have friended them in the first place. So I mentioned Facebook. Facebook comes to mind as an iPad app, certainly, which is pretty new. I mean, it came out in October. But it's like, it's okay. But
really? Because I thought you liked this when it came out.
Well, I did, except that at the time, I wasn't really aware of how limited it was as compared to the Facebook experience that I could,
the web-based.
Yeah.
Which you can even do on your iPad in Safari.
You can.
Safari does a great job of
That's true. They've kind of got this. It reminds me of when the Twitter app first came out, where they've got that left-hand rail, and you've got all your options here, and here's your news feed, and then I can go and see my friends, or say that I don't want to be someone's
all of the friend requests that you've been ignoring.
My messages. If I go to the friends area, here's the thing, though. It's like we all know that. Go back to here. I've got my groups. I've got a variety of groups that I'm a part of. We have a Twit staff group. I have a group for my family. Groups that were created around certain events. That's fine. But then it's like, okay, but what about those Facebook smart lists? Remember when Facebook came out with smart lists earlier this year, and everyone said, "Wow, they actually work really well." And the whole idea with smart lists is that
it makes them for you.
Yeah, and it's basically giving you a head start. Like, you probably, because this person you went to high school with and you don't really interact with them in any other way, they're probably part of the Sebastopol list type of thing.
Right.
But if you try to figure out where to find smart lists in the app, it might be there, but I can't figure it out. It's like if I, I hold
it doesn't do it,
somebody, it opens up somebody's profile. No. If you're unfamiliar with what I'm talking about, Chad, if you want to switch over to my computer, if I go to let's go to my profile.
This was a nice feature when they added this.
Go to my friends, yeah. Now, my friend Anand, for example, okay.
You didn't make a list, these friends, family list. It just happened.
Right. So this is my friend Anand, who I do actually know from the San Francisco scene. So it's like, okay, he's part of my San Francisco area. That's a smart list that Facebook has put together for me.
That's what
if I
the
wanted to
lightning
add
means?
him to a new list, yeah. Well, the check mark, that's what it means.
Okay.
The lightning means maybe he's part of, he knows enough of the other people from those areas that you might know. I could add him to a new list, buds. Fine.
Buds.
Okay, he's part of my buds list now, that type of thing. But there is no way, and that's helpful, because then if I want to share something with just a list of people, my San Francisco friends who would get the joke kind of thing, that's fine. But I cannot figure out how to do that from the Facebook app. As far as I'm concerned, it's not possible. And if it is, it's hidden too far for me to know where to find that. So Path wins in that regard. Even though Facebook is obviously just a much more robust system in general, I don't really think it works that well for sharing with a select few inside the network.
That's what Google said when they did Google Circles. They said you're going to have different groups that you would share different things to. They're all part of your friends set. Path doesn't really make any distinctions. When you share something in Path, it goes to all your friends on Path. It merely says to you, don't put anybody on Path that isn't a close friend. Mm-hmm. So there are two different ways to handle this. Facebook's, actually three if you include Facebook's way, which is automatically creating lists, because Mark Zuckerberg famously said nobody wants to make lists. Google says, yes, you want to make lists, and if we make the UI interestingly, maybe you'll do it. That's why they hired Andy Hertzfeld, one of the original Mac team, to do this user interface for Circles.
Now, Google Plus still doesn't have a compelling iPad app, but you can certainly run the iOS app fine within the iPad. How do you feel about Google Plus Circles? Because I have people in Circles. Here are all the people that I'm connected with.
It solves that problems that you might share something with family that you wouldn't share with your potluck group.
I guess so, but it's like, why would I use Google Plus to share with my family?
Right. Almost I've never posted private message. I only post public message. But Google says that the vast majority of messages on Google Plus are posted to limited circles that are not posted publicly.
Well, I
don't understand it either.
I'll go ahead and believe them.
Yeah, I've never done it.
I've never done that. I mean, here are people that I just
to me,
know
I treat it like Twitter.
are in the Google Plus community, whether they work at Google or not, that sort of thing. It's like...
We treat it as Twitter, basically.
I totally treat it as Twitter.
Yeah.
It's a public message.
Right.
Because the stuff that I'm sharing on Google Plus, it's like... I don't know, it's a funny video, or maybe it's something that we've done here at Twit, or it's a cool picture.
Now, when
and
Facebook added subscribe, I don't know if you've turned that on. I turned that on my page, so that 20,000 people now subscribe to my Facebook updates. Now, Facebook's more like Twitter as well, where when I publish something on Facebook, unless I explicitly say it's not public, it's seen by that group of followers. I didn't have to approve them. It just happened, just like on Twitter. And I still use that most of the time. I very rarely do a limited or narrowed post, either on Google Plus or Facebook.
I don't think I have ever posted anything on Facebook besides... You
know what I do?
Besides closed groups... just to like friends of friends or
don't you just like if you want to tell somebody, don't you just call them?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't use the phone.
I just thought maybe people were actually connecting in real life when they wanted to tell people stuff.
No. I mean, let's not regress too far.
That's crazy talk.
Don't promote calling people on the phone.
All right, bad idea. I don't know. I guess I'm old.
With my new phone, you know, they always go through like, do you want to keep your same texting plan and minutes plan and everything? And I'm like, I want the least amount of minutes.
Right.
I want the least amount of
Who makes
SMS.
phone calls anymore? Oh, you don't do texts?
Well, because
I text all the time.
With iMessage, it doesn't count. And if I use Facebook Messenger, the app, then I don't have to go through SMS at all. And everyone I know is on Facebook Messenger.
Wow.
So don't call me, Leo.
I don't think I've ever called you.
Yeah, you have.
Really?
Yeah, you've called me a couple times.
Oh, that time when I was really drunk.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't going to mention it, but it's out now. Finally, Find My Friends. I think that we'd be remiss if we didn't mention Find My Friends as the ultimate only share with people that you really, really, really care about.
You know what?
And you really consider actual friends.
You're the only one on my Find My Friends.
No, you have Tom, don't you?
No.
You don't?
No.
Well, I guess.
I tried to.
That's a message to Tom.
No, it's a message to Find My Friends. It's useless.
Well, no, why do you feel like it's useless?
Because nobody can figure out how to get Tom sent me an invitation. I don't know what's wrong. Maybe I'm using a weird email address or something, but it doesn't work.
That's not true. What are you talking about?
You're the only person who's ever figured out how to be my friend.
You know why?
Or ever wanted
You know why I bet it is that when you sign up for Find My Friends,
I use my Apple account. That's why.
Well, that's
nobody knows that.
But you can also add your Gmail account or your Leoville account. You can add different. Yeah. So people can pick you up a variety of ways.
I'm not sure I want them to.
What's great about Find My Friends, and actually, our friend Alexia Totsis over at TechCrunch wrote recently. Apple sucks at social. I think that was the name of her article.
I think that's accurate.
And she used Find My Friends as an example. Like, who would use this? Who wants this? It just doesn't make any sense. I love Find My Friends.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
Oh.
But
tell me how you use it.
I do agree. Okay, so if I get home after a long day of work and MG texts me and says, like, I'm on my way home, wrapping up, kind of thing. You know, sometimes you do that when you want someone to think that you've left, but you haven't actually left wherever you're going. I can load this up and figure out if he's actually left the cafe that he's at, and like how close he is. Not if he's lying, but
I think this is exactly why.
How I can plan dinner.
No,
we're not secret keepers.
This is why I think this is a failure product, because it's mostly for that, to figure out if somebody's telling you the truth.
Well, that's not true.
Are they really where they said they were?
Okay, so...
Or stalking them.
Or let's say that someone's not answering their phone and they're due over and maybe there was an accident on the freeway type of a thing. You could get a sense of where they were. We mentioned that in our recent holiday show. It's like,
but do
that can
people use
actually be good for families to figure out where are they? Are they kind of like within, you know, a 10-minute distance type of a thing? Well, I use it. I mean, I know that you probably don't want me stalking you, but I know where you are all the time, which is fine because I don't think that you and I really care if the other person knows where we are. And every once in a while it's going to come in handy.
That's why you're the person on my Find the Friends.
Well, okay, so for example...
So how do I add somebody? I don't see how I add other email addresses here. I have to figure that out, I guess.
Yeah, Leo. You say that you don't like it, but you don't even know how it works.
to use it. Can I add...
Yeah, you go to all, so all friends, get out of there, get out of your account.
Yeah.
Go to all.
All. Okay.
And then
yeah.
plus.
Plus.
Oh,
Plus.
actually, you know why? It's because you're in portrait mode, I think.
You're kidding me. This whole time it's because I've been using it sideways?
Plus.
No, but that's going to add a new person.
Isn't that what you wanted to do?
No, I want to add my other email addresses because nobody knows me by my Mac account.
You did that in your settings.
Settings, okay. So we won't belabor that. we won't belabor that. But you see, I'm perfectly happy to have you be my only friend.
Well, that's fine. Not a problem. I'm happy to be your only friend. I don't think Find My Friends is useless. I think
it's close to useless.
It is the ultimate, really only usable when it's people that you're close enough with so that you don't have anything to hide, or you're trying to figure out where they are.
It's really family. And to be honest, I Find My iPhone to do that with my family because they all have iPhones. So I've added them all to my account on Find My Phone and Find My iPad and Find My Mac, and that way I know where they are. So, or their phone. I know where their phone is.
Yeah.
But that's what this is, basically. Right. Same thing, right?
If you had a really good friend that you worked with regularly, I mean, there are tons of those people here. What's the problem?
I don't have any friends. And so if
I'm your friend. Well,
I know, you're my only friend. That's it. I'm telling you.
Eileen's your friend.
No, I don't like her.
Oh. Didn't hear that. Have you said it?
I don't want anything. No, I love her, but I don't want to know where she is at all times. I really don't.
But wouldn't it be nice if she knew where you are?
No.
So that on Mac Break Weekly days when you're late,
when I'm late,
she can say, "Look, he's coming around the corner."
She always sends me texts.
She wouldn't have to do that.
That says,
you would make
"Are
her
you going to be here sometime today?" But then she'd know that I was in the bar, and I don't want her to know that.
Well, I think you might want to think about your lifestyle.
That's what I mean. Find My Friends is for people.
It's good for your friends and their judgment.
Let's just say Herman Cain should never use this app. That's all I'm saying.
That's right. So I think that what we've sort of come up with after this discussion.
What have we decided?
Well, I think that Path right now is the best bet for a nice, well-done app. Looks good, design's great, the UI is fantastic for a smaller group of people. And keep in mind, 150.
That's a lot of people.
150 contacts is now the maximum.
Right.
You don't have to use 150 slots.
You know where that comes from? That's the Dunbar number. That's the Dunbar number. The number so Dunbar was an anthropologist, I think about 30, 40 years ago, who said, based on the mechanics of the human brain, we can really only keep 150 close friends in our head. It's probably because of our tribal roots.
I can think of probably 40 at one time.
Yeah.
Close friends.
Well, the Dunbar number varies. Some people say it's 50, but 150 is kind of... you can look it up on Wikipedia.
150
so that's where that number comes
remembering
from.
the names of people.
Yeah, or you actually have... You can have a relationship with. Any more than that, it's too complicated.
I feel like I'm not capable of that.
Really?
150 on a regular basis? Like seeing, hanging out, catching up, making phone calls?
I bet you have 150 friends that if you saw them on the street, you go, hey, it's great to see you. How you doing? What's up?
I guess so. But that's more of an occasional, not hanging out with regularly.
Well, let's put it this way. There it is, Dunbar's number. It is a high number. 150 is plenty. 150 is plenty.
150 is plenty. I really like Path. I think it's a great service. I still am not sure if it's going to get widespread adoption. It certainly didn't the first time around. In the first year, I think they were having, I think it was something like...
They said 1 million users, but I bet you that wasn't 1 million active users. Because you and I were one of those million, and we didn't use it.
All right. And of the people who connected via Facebook, where Facebook can indicate who's using it regularly, I think the number was like 30,000 a month.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
That's really low. Doesn't mean that that's what the number was altogether, but I'm intrigued by it. But
I'm of the opinion that there are many of these apps get a lot of attention and traction up front, but
because they have superstars involved,
right? But the Foursquares of the world, Foursquare truly does have traction with 4 or 5 million regular users and all that, are rare, very few and far between. And even Foursquare, even Twitter, which has several 100 million users, is having difficulty showing a way to make money, showing viability. So you can be
Twitter fatigue.
Yeah, you can be Twitter's a utility now. I think. I mean, it's like you can't watch a TV show without them mentioning it. But I don't know how they make money on it, and I don't know how they, it becomes a utility. And then I think that's the 1%, and then there's a vast majority of apps that people will use avidly for a few days and then disappear. Instagram is an example of an amazingly popular app that somehow magically gained traction. I don't know how that happens.
Well, I think it kind of does one thing pretty well. Path does a lot of things pretty well now. It's just that it's not
risky,
to that many people.
Right.
So it's still very interesting concept. I just don't know. I don't know if they're going to be a runaway hit.
I think the UI is great. Here's the thing that always ends up slowing these guys down. This is what happened to me with Kevin's Oink. Is it was too much work. I don't want to. And Foursquare, frankly, is become too much work for me. It's like I don't want to check in everywhere I go. I give up. Do you still check in everywhere you go?
Not everywhere.
No.
Like I don't check into the Brick House because I'm never going to become mayor. Because some people just check in every day, and so I'm like, eh.
You gave up.
But I am in a war right now with Ron Richards of All About Android because we go to the same gym, and he just stole my mayorship.
Yeah.
I was mayor there for a solid year.
That's when it keeps you involved, is when you're fighting
there's an
for a
incentive,
mayorship.
especially for something where it's like, I'm proud of being mayor of my gym. Really quick, if anyone wants any of the links to anything we talked about, apps you're not familiar with, you've probably heard of all these, but Path or whatever, remember that at twit.tv/IPT, we have all of our show notes. So everything that we talk about, links to articles, so on and so forth, are all at our website there. And we record iPad Today live on Thursdays, 4:30 p.m. Eastern, 1:30 Pacific. So if you can't watch us live, you can always watch us on demand later via our website. But do tune in live if you can, because then you get to see all the behind-the-scenes goofing off that we do and chat in real time with us. And it's fun to have you
We
here.
like that. We love having you watch live if you can. Hey, this part of the show brought to you by our friends at Citrix, who make Go to My PC. The holiday season is here. That means, there'll be times when you don't want to be at the office. You want to be home. You're maybe not feeling well. There's bad weather, or you just want to spend time with family. But work still has to get done, even through the holidays. That's where Go to My PC is so handy. With Go to My PC, you can access your office computer, PC or Mac, anywhere you can get online. And here's the beauty part. Even from an iPad. Imagine taking your iPad, on vacation or just bringing it home and accessing your office computer and getting work done. You could send and receive email, access any network resource, run any program, just as if you were there. And the boss will never know that you were at home. It really is fantastic. Unless you're on his Find My Friends.
Well, and he or she might not care because you can still get your work done. You're still getting the work done.
And I think nowadays that's really the key to this.
21st century, folks.
Here's how you try it free for 30 is it 30 days? Yeah. Go to mypc.com is the website. GOTOMYPC.com. Click that Try It Free button, and the offer code is iPad. 30 days free. It works wonderfully on the iPad or on any computer. But you got to put it on your desktop at work first, so do that right now. Go to mypc.com, use the offer code iPad. Try it today. You'll love it.
So what do you think about this whole rumor that started out at the Daily that Microsoft Office will be coming to the iPad?
We talked about it today on Windows Weekly because Mary Jo Foley and Paul Thurrott both talked, had heard the same thing or the same kinds of rumors, but we had some really interesting questions. We don't think it's going to happen on the iPad until next year when Microsoft ships its own Windows 8 tablets.
Right.
It wouldn't make a lot of sense to put it out on the iPad, sell a lot of iPads for Apple.
And then no one needs a Windows 8 tablet because they've got Office.
So if it does happen, it's be my best guess and their best guess as well that it wouldn't happen till sometime after Windows 8 tablets come out in the spring, maybe even in the summer of next year. Also, the question is how much it would be worth. Now, this article in the Daily suggested $10. But it's not, Mary Jo and Paul both poo-pooed that. They said, look, you're selling Microsoft Office on the desktop for hundreds and hundreds of dollars. You can't sell an iPad edition for the same price Apple sells its iWork software.
Right.
So one possibility is it isn't a full Office. It's Office 365, which is Microsoft's web version of Microsoft Office. It's much more limited, much more stripped down. And maybe then it's a monthly subscription, or it could still be low cost just because it's limited functionality. So, the Daily isn't normally where I would go to find rumors about Microsoft plans. This may be a mistake on their part. There's a lot of questions that are raised by this article. So,
although Microsoft has had so much success. Decades of success putting Office kind of wherever.
Office is huge on Macintosh. It's the #1 Macintosh product.
Exactly.
So certainly they're aware of that.
Right. it would not behoove them to give the iPad ecosystem something that would keep people from buying Microsoft's own hardware.
Exactly.
Since they're getting into that whole tablet business anyway.
I guess that's my point.
Why would they shoot themselves in the foot?
There's some big question marks raised by this
Especially
story.
since Apple would take a cut of anything that Microsoft
30%.
sold.
Yep.
So, it's like everybody would make a lot of money, but still, that doesn't add up.
I don't know. It doesn't add up. You're right.
I am not, I haven't used any Microsoft Office products in a while, not because I don't think they're good, just because I've had a Mac and I have Open Office, or I actually use TextEdit for a lot of stuff, and Google Docs certainly for anything spreadsheet related. But I know that this would appeal to a lot of people. Certainly people who are I just want Word. I like the way Word looks. And if I could get that on my iPad, then I really see the iPad as more than a consumption device. So I get why it would be a big deal to a lot of people, but you don't need it. It's not as if not having Microsoft Office is making the iPad any less of a good tool.
And that was another question that I asked Paul and Mary Jo is, well, who is this for? And I think the consensus is this is for people who are using Office at work who want to have the ability to read and write Office documents on their iPad.
Yeah.
And it's not probably of great general interest to people who don't use Microsoft Office already.
Right.
Because you'll use whatever, as you do, whatever is available on the iPad and has been all this time. Including, by the way, I think Apple's own products, Pages, Numbers, and the Keynote are excellent products and work great on the iPhone, iPad, as well as the desktop.
But imagine all the people if you gave them even a Mac, and they're used to a Windows machine, and
that's why they sell a lot of copies
Word?
of Office. Yeah,
so
that's
it's
why
like that would, especially in the Christmas season, and
N7XLQ asks a great question. Outlook, that's the email package on the iPad. Would Apple even allow Microsoft Outlook on the iPad?
I wouldn't want it.
Do they allow other email apps on the iPad? There's only one, right? There's Gmail. They do allow Gmail.
Yeah. Which is it's kind of like Chrome OS. Really.
Most people don't bother because Apple's mail app is pretty damn good. Nobody wants another email app. You already get one for free.
So yesterday, big news coming from the Spotify camp that they were going to allow, at least in their desktop software for now, sort of third-party apps, I guess you could say.
I love it. I've been playing with it. I think it's great.
I love it too. I think it's great. But for the purposes of iPad today, little bone I have to pick with Spotify is, why would you launch such a cool app integration program and not also roll in an awesome iPad app that would also make use of these
Because
apps?
Rdio has this great app.
Yes.
And it bugs me because I subscribe to Spotify, and that's the one big thing missing.
It really is missing. Now, Spotify does have a mobile app, but it does not have...
It's an iPhone app.
Yeah. It's not even universal. Now, Rdio is a service that I use. I've talked about them.
And look how
in
well
the
they
past.
use this screen. People might say, but Sarah, you keep using iPhone apps like Path on your iPad, but it just doesn't use the real estate well. And this is one of those apps where you would really like to see better album art, more choices, lists are long. I'd like to see more social, and Rdio does such a good job with this.
Rdio, visually,
It's beautiful.
It's far superior in my opinion.
Yep.
But it's also what Rdio has always done really well from the get-go is social sharing discovery.
Right.
Now, Spotify is now doing that with a lot of these. They hooked up with Last.fm.
Right.
They hooked up
Well,
with...
and they've always done it with Facebook. So this is the negative on Spotify. You had to have a Facebook account to use Spotify. But once you did sign up, I see all my Facebook friends' playlists, and that's nice. Because presumably they're on Facebook, they're my friend. I care about them enough to friend them.
Yeah.
I care like your music, some great music stuff. So that's one thing I do like about Spotify. But Rdio's...
Well, you can do that on... Rdio will hook up to Facebook the same way.
Right. And I followed Baratunde, for instance, on Rdio. He's a big Rdio user, and learned a lot about music from that.
And that's fine. But let's say you don't want to go through Facebook, or you're not a Facebook user, or whatever. You also have this nice activity stream. Someone, Brian Lamb, listened to a Prince album recently, and so I get ideas of not only what my friends are listening to, but what's like top of the charts based on albums or top songs or playlists, or what's on heavy rotation. Like, what have I been listening to lately? I mean, I kind of already know that, but like, how about the people that are in my network? What have they been listening to regularly? Because that holds more clout to me than everyone on Rdio, because that ends up being much more of the kind of top 40 stuff.
Right.
That's like, I've heard of all of this. If if I'm not listening to it already, I'm probably not interested. But let's say, okay, Drake has a new album, right? Let's say that I just love the song Marvin's Room. I've actually never heard it, but let's say that I love it.
That's a good song.
Do you like it?
Oh, yeah, I'm a big Drake fan.
I like Drake, too. Yeah, have you ever seen him in an interview? He's like this really nice, polite Canadian guy.
No, so yeah, he's Canadian.
He doesn't seem anything like he seems when he's in his rap mode.
Canadian hip hop is very nice.
Well, yeah, he's explicit. But let's say I want to share Marvin's Room with people. Now, I've always had the opportunity to share with other Rdio users, or of course, if I hook it up to Facebook, people on Facebook can see that I've shared the song. But now, the newest Rdio release has this nice share the song area. So now, I can share to Facebook, or Twitter, or within Rdio, or I can just get the link, copy it to my clipboard to send to a lot of different people. I think Rdio is, they're definitely kind of, I worry that they're going to get buried in the momentum that is Spotify.
Yeah.
Especially since Spotify now is hooking up with really high-profile brands like Rolling Stone, for example. It's like, Rdio is, to me, it's the superior experience. But, if they can't get the deals and compete.
It's funny, because I had an Rdio account, and I got a Spotify account. I have Rdio, Mog, and Spotify, and of the three, I let Rdio go.
Did you?
Yeah.
Over Mog?
Well, the reason I like Mog is because they have a radio thing, artist radio. So you can, just like Pandora, you can enter an artist, and then there's a slider, which is nice. It can go from all of the artists to none of the artists, but all in that style. There's just a few things on Mog that I really like, the higher bit rate. But Spotify has become my #1 go-to place. The nice thing about Rdio, our chat room tells me, is they're available in Canada. That's what Z Shakespeare says.
Well, isn't that nice?
I'm the only one that is.
Well, Rdio, good for you. There's some really nice updates to
Rdio was started
really nice
by the guys who
Skype guys.
Yeah,
and employs a few of my friends.
Yeah, it's a peer-to-peer. I think it's about peer-to-peer based.
Good team. In fact, one of their head designers I used to work with at Current.
Oh,
yeah.
Very nice.
Rod Neighbor. Okay, so this is a really great little iOS feature, although I think a lot of people might not know about it. It was sent to us by Stan Cook. Thank you, Stan. This is a bit of a little pro tip that, you know how in iOS 5 you can now take a picture using the volume up button? If you have your iPhone earbuds plugged in.
Yes.
And you can go volume up and down.
No.
Yes.
It works?
It
takes a picture?
Shutter.
Wow.
Now you're like, well, how far are you going to be away if you've got your headphones
really interesting.
plugged into your iPhone? Well, if you've got a little GorillaPod, or something where you've got this nice camera, but you had too much coffee and your hand's shaking type of a thing, you set it up somewhere and you take your picture. And
right. Or if you dropped it down your pants or something.
If you dropped it down your pants, which, who doesn't do that on the regular? So that, not only is that cool, but, and this...
I love how you just roll with any stupid thing I say.
That's what else
You've worked with me so long now, you go, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, it's just when you drop it down your pants,
whatever,
It happens. That's life. No, listen, though, you're going to love this.
You worked with me too long.
That's for sure.
Didn't even phase her.
What's cool, though, listen, I haven't even gotten...
I'm listening. There's more? That's coolness right there.
The best part is, what if you have a Bluetooth headset?
No. Does that work? No.
Now, apparently, and this...
Shut up.
You shut up. Apparently from, there's a forums area called Mac OS 10 Hints at macworld.com. According to this article, this doesn't work with just every Bluetooth headset. Some people have said, it hasn't worked with, my Jawbone headset.
I got to try this.
But other ones it does.
Because I have 100 Bluetooth headsets.
Yeah, if you have 100, or even if you just have one, try it. Let us know which ones work.
So it would be the volume up or down button?
Yeah. You could just walk away. Well, not too far.
Wow.
Isn't that neat?
Wow.
I can't believe I'm just now hearing about this. So thank you so much to Stan for the heads up. That's going to make... So we're about to go on vacation. I've got this nice camera now.
That is really neat.
I'm going to get a little bit more artsy-fartsy.
Yeah.
Okay,
wow.
duh tip from Raul.
Duh.
He says, I have a duh tip, not just for iPads, but also iPhones. My wife, my son, and I all have iPhones. We share a single iTunes account for our purchases. A lot of people do that. Previously to the deployment of iCloud, we also used the same single account for Find My iPhone. You know all about that. You were talking about it earlier in the show. When I was 5 and iCloud came out, we were puzzled as to how we could keep on using the same account for Find My iPhone so that anybody could find our lost iPhones or iPads, but keep separate iCloud accounts for separate storage bins. I finally realized I could just turn off Find My iPhone in the 3 personal iCloud accounts on each iDevice, and then add a second iCloud account that was shared that just had the Find My iPhone feature turned on.
So in other words, create a new account just for Find My iPhone.
Exactly.
Let that.
Otherwise,
so you can have multiple accounts, and I found that as well. Even your iTunes can have one account, your iCloud can have another account, your iPhone you can have multiple accounts.
Yes.
So that's a nice feature. I think that's good that Apple did that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We have not talked about an iPad star of the week in a while. For many weeks in a row, it was cats, and there was a bird, I think a bunny, a few dogs. This week, it is President of the United States.
Has an iPad.
Yeah. No,
I thought they weren't going to let him have even a BlackBerry.
Well, Chad, you have that picture.
This is funny because this is an official White House photograph, and look very carefully to the president's right. What is that on that desk?
Just to the right.
That doesn't look like an iPad. What is that?
Well, I know it anywhere because I used to have this case. It's the Dodo case. That is a Dodo case, and there's an iPad in there. I
think that was left behind by Hillary Clinton when she was visiting.
I don't think so. I want to believe that he has a secret iPad. This was posted to the official White House Flickr account. Yeah. So you'd think that if they were, although, you know, I mean, you could look at that and just say, oh, it was his notebook or something.
They did not, yeah, it's exactly right.
Nobody
They said,
knew.
oh, let that go. You can't tell what that is. Sarah Lane can.
Or they didn't know. Yeah,
or they didn't know.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, well, we'll know this if it disappears by tomorrow. We'll know.
Right.
That is definitely an iPad.
That's an iPad in a Dodo case.
Is it an iPad 1 or 2? That's a 2.
I don't know. How can you tell?
It's curved.
Well,
that's a 2. Don't you think, kids at home?
I don't think if the president had an iPad, it would be a first gen. Let's be honest.
That's an iPad 2. Look at that. See that?
The Dodo case had they made conspiracy theories.
I like how Chad's center.
Listen, Barack. Now that you know that we know,
center.
Let's just
zoom in center.
Let's talk about the apps you like. You don't have to hide anymore. We're all friends.
Come on, Mr. President.
We're your peers.
What are Barack's top apps?
Yeah, let's get him on the horn. I'll do that when the show's over.
He's on the phone right now. You could tell in the picture. I believe that's a phone he's holding. Zoom in, center.
So, yeah, there you go. Dodo case.
See? Phone.
Our president. One of us.
That cord doesn't go anywhere. It's just coming dangling down.
Some of these pictures, it's like, it just looks too good, like some sort of an ad in a, Sports Illustrated.
The truth is the staff photographer now for the White House is a very well-known, very good photographer.
I follow the White House Flickr account because the pictures are they're fascinating. It's not just pictures of him, it's his whole staff.
Well, thanks to Flickr. Yeah.
Thanks to Flickr, indeed.
Pete Souza, that's his name. Really, he's a very well-known, very good photographer with all this access, and he's doing amazing job. I mean, that's a great picture. Stands alone on its own as a great picture.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
You have an iPad, Mr. President.
Oh, wait a minute. We remember now.
What?
Of course.
What?
In the interview,
what?
President Obama says he got an iPad 2 from Steve Jobs. Of course I remember that.
But he did say that.
But now we know he uses it.
Yeah. Or just like
he says I have one. Remember he told Brian Williams that in the White House. He said, "Yeah, I have an iPad 2. Steve Jobs gave me one before it came out."
But then he's not supposed to use it. That's the whole idea for any actual
Right, there's a security issue.
That's so silly. He can play some Angry Birds. Let him have some fun. The guy works hard.
I bet he has an aide come in, downloads all this stuff, turns on the Wi-Fi and off the 3G, and says, "Okay, Mr. President, now you can use it."
Yeah, now you can play.
If you're not online, you can use it.
Doodly-doo.
It's like he's in the high school. Mr. President, you may not go on Facebook, Twitter, or Path.
You need a hall pass.
But you can play Angry Birds. Okay. We just want a little Angry Birds reference in a presidential speech. What would it be? Go, just do that, and we'll know that you play Angry Birds. This portion of the show brought to you by our friends at Ford. That's all. Just do that, and we'll know. Or you go, and then we would know.
Why are you so weird? Weird.
The folks at Ford don't think I'm weird.
No, they love you.
You know what? They're going to. I finally broke down. I don't usually like to pull strings, but I'm dying to get this 2012 Ford Focus, the electric.
Oh, and there's a list.
There's a list. There's an influencers list. So I emailed Scott Monty at Ford, and I said, God, please, you know who I am, right? And he said, we'll try, Leo. He won't let me be his friend on Path either. But this is the thing. If you like Ford, you ought to go to the Ford dealer and take a look at the 2012 Ford Focus. They have now, I think they have, of course, the gas engine, but I think they have the hybrid engine also on the Focus out. They're going to do a plug-in hybrid. They're going to do electric. State-of-the-art stuff. And one of the things I want you to pay special attention to, I always talk about this, is the Ford Sync with Myford Touch. That's the thing where you have your hands on the wheel, your eyes on the road, you're driving, you're safe, but you press the button on the wheel and you say things like, set the temperature to 73 degrees, or play, Beethoven's Fifth, or find me a gas station. You can say that. Well, I really want to emphasize this GPS part of it, because that really is why you get this stuff. The Ford Sync, you didn't even need a screen. It would talk you through it. But when you have the Myford Touch, you have the big 7-inch screen in the center console, 2 screens behind the wheel, the left and the right arrows telling you which way to go as you're driving. But it also has a database of 40 million businesses in there, which is the best anywhere. That means that no matter where you're going, you can press the button and say the business name, the directions, it'll do it. You don't have to have an address or anything. You could say, call that business. It has the phone number. This is what you're looking for, is just to make your life better and easier with great technology in your car. Ford's doing it. They're knocking it out of the park. They're crushing it. I want you to take a look at the website, ford.com/. That's such a beautiful car. Really affordable. And I just love that Ford Focus. You can use Google Maps or MapQuest if you want to plan a complicated trip. You don't want to enter it in on the GPS. You can plan it on MapQuest or Google Maps and then send it to your car. How about that?
How about that?
Send it. Your car, you can even, there's an app, so it will text you if the traffic's going to be bad on your route home. You should use this, Sarah. And it will tell you, oh, Sarah, don't leave yet because the traffic's going to be bad. Something like that.
Yeah, because I usually don't know until I'm in it.
Right. Save yourself all that trouble.
Or I think about looking before I leave.
It's too late.
Yeah.
Learn more about this at ford.com/technology. But my best advice to you is to go to your Ford dealer and drive one.
Because you'll love it.
You will. You'll fall in love. And I will let you drive the electric Focus, but once. Only once.
Thank you. You're so generous.
Once. No, it's good. I can't wait. You know, it's good. It'll be good because I can sneak up on you.
It's true. Every once in a while, I'll be on a walk. It'll be at night or something. And one of the hybrids will creep up on me. Taxi drivers now in San Francisco, many of them have hybrids, and they also drive like maniacs, because that's what cabbies do, and they'll creep up on you.
You can't hear them.
And you can't hear them coming.
It's going to be a law. I know there's going to be a law. And I want to get
makes hybrids buzz or something?
Yeah, I want to get my electric Focus before they have this law, but they will put a little speaker in the bumper.
Right.
It'll go, so that you know there's a car coming.
Yeah.
I don't want that. I don't want to sneak up on people.
Or just look up.
Look.
Have your wits about you.
Look around. Don't be staring at that new phone of yours, the new iPhone you're staring at all the time. Get your head out of your iPad.
I was almost robbed in Muni today because I wasn't paying attention. Because somebody saw my new iPhone.
It's dangerous.
Yeah. You got to be careful. You got to look up.
Of course, you got a purse the size of Fort Knox, so there's nobody going to steal your purse.
Well, I wrapped it around my arm a few times. I mean, I'll fight to the death.
I've never met a woman yet that didn't start with a small purse and then slowly they get bigger and bigger.
Do you know how many things I have to carry around with me? It's just easier. Okay, so Tony from across the pond sent us a little tip. We were talking about Instagram earlier. He said, just thought I'd share this site that a friend turned me onto that lets you view your Instagram feed in the browser. In Safari on the iPad. Until Instagram comes natively to iPad, seems like an excellent alternative with some fun features. The website is Statigram, STATIGR.am. So I went ahead and loaded it up, and obviously you have to sign into your Instagram account via Statigram, but Tony's right. This is really nice. Now, you can, of course, run Instagram, the app itself, on your iPad, but it is an iPhone app, and the pictures do get sort of fuzzed up looking. So this is my friend Lynn's daughter. This is actually pulling from a larger image of the picture, so it doesn't look grainy and blown out. Okay, babies. All right, so if I go ahead
Poshy,
and...
you know, I follow Poshy too. She's got a new baby.
Yeah, the baby's almost a year old now. So, yeah, so I can look through my photos.
Have you ever tried Inkstagram?
Inkstagram?
They're now called ink361.com.
No.
Ink361.
No.
Same idea. It's because Instagram has a API.
That's right.
You can make a website. So
a lot of people have.
I haven't tried Statagram. I'll have to try that. I use Inkstagram.
What's inky about it? It's just a play on words?
Well, I think they got in trouble with Instagram, so they changed their name to Ink361.
Got it.
But it was Inkstagram, like Instagram with a K.
This is nice because it'll show me the likes, show me the comments.
I prefer to look at Instagram pictures this way, to be honest.
Right. My likes, my followers, my followings. This is actually easier to navigate than the app itself. I can look at statistics for recent photos, stuff that was more popular. I don't know what contests is. That's interesting. Let's go
I think they might do some contests.
Yeah, like gives you an incentive to go there.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's some of my stats. This is loading kind of slowly because we're in the studio here. Contests. Oh, okay, so this is kind of cool. For each of the 3 winners, 45 magnets made for our photos, and thanks to our partner, Stickygram.
Ah, that brings up the Stickygram.
So it looks like Statagram and Stickygram are buds.
Well, where did I put my Stickygrams?
Well, Leo, it was in an envelope that you said I was going to be disappointed with.
So this is a company called
Stickygram.
Stickygram at stickygram.com, and what they do is you go there and for $20. You pick 9 of your favorite Instagram images, your images, and it turns them into magnets. But I have to say, I went to the website, and I thought this would be a little bit bigger than this. So this is
like you thought one magnet would be that big?
almost this big,
but
anyway.
the thing is, why do you want huge magnets?
Well, you're right.
Where do you put magnets besides a fridge?
You're right. I just was a little. I just thought they would be bigger. That's all.
They're about as big as they look on an iPhone.
They're not much bigger than the actual iPhone image. I showed this to Jennifer, and she said, "Thank God they aren't bigger." She's apparently not fond of the pictures I chose.
Or magnets in general.
Or Well, we have one of those refrigerators that's made out of wood or something. It doesn't nothing will stick. But there they are. There's the little. That's me and Jennifer. There's a little picture. But that's it. That's the size of it.
But you know what? That's actually it works nicely.
It doesn't stick to this
because
wood,
that's made
but
of
here
wood.
I'll show you. So I picked some of my favorite.
At that resolution, though, if
you're right, you don't want to make it much bigger.
They look nice.
Yeah.
Look at little Abby.
Yeah.
Little Ozzy.
This Abby when she was a baby. There's my dog. There's
I actually
my
really
son.
like. See, this is okay. So
it's not too expensive.
Stocking stuffer, perfect.
Yes.
It's perfect for something like that, and it's meaningful, so people are going to get a lot out of it.
Now it's a British company, so allow a little extra time for. But it came pretty quickly, within a week.
Another, well, it's not so much a stocking stuffer because it'd be too big, but another gift idea, I know everyone's thinking about gifts idea, that relates to Instagram is something called Canvas Pop. And I don't remember who told me about it originally.
It's pretty funny. It makes it a painting.
Yeah, it actually pulls Instagram pictures into Canvas Pop's service. Chad, if you want to look at...
this is interesting. I hope Instagram makes a little money out of these guys.
Oh, I'm sure that they've got some sort of an agreement.
I hope
so. If you want to look at my screen, I'll show you. If I go ahead and say...
Are you going to make one?
Get started. Well, I'll show you how you do make one.
Our web is really slow right now.
Why is our web so slow?
I don't know.
It's so weird. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and select a size. So 12 by 12 or 20 by 20. Obviously, Instagram is always square, so you have 2 options. But yeah, 20 by 20 would be pretty big. Yep. There is a special going on right now, so it's like half off of what it would normally be. So let's say, okay, 12 by 12.
Now, can you only do the picture? It must be only the ones you've taken.
Yes. Yeah, you have to sign in with your own Instagram account. Now, here's the deal. Is that it only seems to, for whatever reason, it's pulling in from the API for the last, 30 photos or so. So there's this photo I have in my mind that I took last year sometime, or earlier this year, that I thought, this would be great for Canvas Pop, that'd be a nice gift. But I can't pull it in through this information because those are the last 30 pictures I have. I can't go back any farther.
Oh, that's all you can do.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if there is another way to load a particular picture in, but I think you might have to just re-upload it to Instagram in order to get back into the Canvas Pop system. So if that applies to you, then there is a workaround. It's just kind of annoying. But like my picture of Lucy here, I can decide to put Lucy above the bed. Picture of my cat in the covers. That's romantic, isn't it? Yeah. And then I add it to my cart, and then I could send that to my mom or something like that. Yeah, it's cute.
Yeah.
And you can do black borders or white borders. You can adjust the thickness.
$30 is not bad for a 12 by 12 print.
Yeah, I think it's a great gift idea. So there you go. You have some fun Instagram related options. Gosh, we're almost about ready for our app caps, but
get the hats. Get the hats. I got a great app cap for you. Just came out a few minutes ago. But first, let's talk about Epson and the incredible Workforce Pro printer. I'm such a fan of Epson printers. You know, I was just thinking, in fact, the chat room mentioned this, if you had one of the nice Epson photo printers, you could print on canvas. In fact, I'm sure that's what these guys are doing. Or a magnetic. You can buy magnet paper. And you could do all of this stuff for a fraction of the cost. Epson printers are versatile, they're fast, they're great. And if you're in business, you really want to look at the Workforce Pro. It's the fastest double-sided printer out there. Beats the laser printers like by a mile. And by the way, the ink, this is the most affordable inkjet printer out there, gives you 50% less cost per page than color lasers. So it's very economical. A big bin with 580 pages means you don't have to change the paper as much. The cartridges for the ink are giant, so you don't have to worry about that. I think you're just going to love it. I want you to take a look at the Epson Workforce Pro at Epson.com. Two-sided printing is, you can't underestimate the value of two-sided printing. Not only does it save you on paper, it just looks more professional. It looks like a book. Looks like a magazine. They've got copying, scanning, faxing. It's the ultimate all-in-one, and you can get it at Epson.com or pretty much anywhere online. I'm a huge fan. I think you're going to want. We got one for the office. Lisa stole it immediately. That's in her office now, and I liked it so much I got one for my house.
Well, aren't you fancy?
Now you have an Epson Artisan, which I had an Artisan for years.
Yeah.
And I love the Artisan. But this is bigger and faster and better, and I like it. And I like the double-sided printing. And it also works very well directly from the iPhone and iPad. So, we have in the iOS 5 now this print command. It's a Wi-Fi printer or an Ethernet printer, so it's on your network. You print, it sees it like that, and you press print, and boom, it's working. I know. Love it. Workforce Pro printer from Epson.
Well,
you gotta try it out.
These days, all my pictures are on one of my iDevices.
This is really true. It's funny because it was a little bit of a frustration in the early days, and we couldn't print very well from the iPad, but now we can. It's easy.
In fact, we did whole shows about
how hard it was. Remember?
You might wonder why we're wearing these.
It's app cap time.
Very, very official.
You know where I got these?
Where?
These are all. All the apps. The caps in our app caps are my collection of hats.
Where'd you get these?
Well, take a look at the.
Full of flair.
Take a look at the flair and see if there's
it's on my head.
A commonality in the flair, in the flairage. They're all
from different. They're all Russian.
Commie.
Oh, commie hats.
These are commie hats.
Right.
I got these in St. Petersburg when I was there a few years ago. Oh, you want a close-up? Here you go. I got them in St. Petersburg when I was there a few years ago, and most of these are from the old Soviet Union when they decommissioned. When they dropped the Soviet part, they had a lot of materiel left lying around with the hammer and sickle on it. Nobody wanted, so you can get these. I got these for just a few rubles from a street vendor in St. Petersburg. It's kind of fun, isn't it?
I love them.
I love it.
I feel like I should give some orders.
Yeah.
Actually, I will.
Why don't you give an order?
I will order all of you to love my half cap. But actually, I don't really have to try that hard because it's a Charlie Brown Christmas. Oh. Okay, now.
I saw this came out. I'm so excited.
I know that not everybody is super into Christmas. You might not even celebrate Christmas.
But who isn't into Charlie Brown?
But who isn't into Charlie Brown and the Peanuts Christmas special that I mean, I've watched that special every year. Maybe not every year, but darn near pretty much every year I can remember on some network. I guess it's Fox that they play it on each year. I'm not really sure.
Oh, look. What a nice interface.
So here's the deal.
They've got a record player.
It's a Charlie Brown Christmas.
There's that music.
That is interactive. These are actually the same folks that brought us Peter Rabbit. Remember I showed that off as an app cap sometime back? It's the
Do you get the whole show?
Yeah.
A Charlie Brown Christmas.
It's in book form.
Charles M. Schultz. Narrated by Peter Robbins, the original voice of Charlie Brown.
Wow, he's grown up.
I know, he has. So you can choose to have
Christmas time
written
was here.
read
Time when
to you.
snowflakes fell softly.
And then you've got kind of your fun stuff where you can make little kids move around.
Oh, I think kids would love this.
Yeah. It's so adorable, and I mean, this is the story. It's exactly the same story, and Charlie Brown is having a hard time because he feels like he doesn't have any friends, and Christmas isn't very meaningful.
I love how they make it look like 3D paper. You know, they didn't try to do a cartoon.
Christmas is
Oh, they got the voices.
Yeah.
I don't feel the way I'm supposed to feel. I just don't understand Christmas, I guess. I like getting presents and sending Christmas.
Do you think that's the guy? Now, when he was a kid?
Well, it's. I mean, they're just using the original audio.
Yeah, but that's him, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was him when he was younger.
Wow.
So I'm blowing through this, obviously, because I'm trying to show you guys as many of the cutest things as possible. But the doctor is real in. I just love this. This is nostalgia at its best.
Are you old enough to remember these? I guess you are.
Oh yeah.
They've rerun them for years.
Yeah. I mean, they're before my time, but even. I mean, I think even kids that were born not that long ago still love these.
Watch this.
Yeah.
How much is that?
This is. Ooh, that's a good question. Let me look. This is
$6.99. I see it right there on the website. Yeah. All right. Very nice. That seems to be more and more the default price for all apps is $6.99.
No.
All apps are $6.99.
That's not true.
Every app is $6.99.
I think most apps, at least that I use regularly, are free or they are 5 and under. And often they're 99 or
I got an app that was $6.99. That's my app cap is also $6.99.
Okay, well, show it off, Mr. Hotshot.
Actually, can I do 2? Because I want to do one that I should have done.
You can't do 2.
Yes.
No.
I was supposed to do this one when it came out. Remember the Game of Thrones? Did you watch the Game of Thrones when it was on TV?
No, I don't have HBO, and it takes forever for HBO shows to go to iTunes.
So they released a free weather app for Game of Thrones fans. This came out in the spring.
Whoopity-doo.
As it is in Petaluma, it would be in Pentos. And so this is the weather, and they use the same weather in San Francisco. It's the same. They use pictures from the TV show as the weather forecast.
Spoiler alert.
Look at this. As it is in London right now, so it was in Winterfell, 46 and raining. It's free. It's just fun. It's kind of silly.
If it's free, that's awesome for anybody who's
Isn't that cool? If you're a fan of the Game of Thrones.
I mean, I have no idea what this refers to.
Right.
Because I haven't read any books.
We did a weather thing, and I just didn't see this until today. So now this is the real.
Your real app cap.
The real app cap.
Okay.
And when they announced the iPhone 4S, they brought Electronic Arts up on the stage to demonstrate this. But it is now out, came out yesterday. It's Infinity Blade 2. Now, I picked Infinity Blade 1 when it came out originally.
I remember, you loved it.
Incredible. The Unreal Engine and everything. This is Unreal Engine 3.
Oh, my gosh.
Stand back. This is running on.
If you could still have your hair in.
Epic Games. I'm sorry, not Electronic Arts. Thank you for the correction. It is a Game Center game, as you can see. And if you played Infinity Blade, I'm sure you're already hooked. The in-game purchases were, a real way for them to make money. I think they've realized this is a good business. We'll let the cutscene run for a little bit because it does look exactly like this. This is a movie, but this is pretty much how the game looks. Lots of new features, lots of new gameplay. I don't know if I can skip it anyway.
Why don't they let you? There has to be a way. Oh, just because it's the first time you're looking at it?
Yeah, it's the first time.
Well, so how do you know you like it if you're looking at this for the first time?
I don't know that I like it. I can only say that because it's Infinity Blade.
Caught.
No, it's going to be great.
Okay.
I don't have to say anything. I know it's going to be great.
You do.
It's Infinity Blade.
Well, what if it was crashy? What if it was flitty?
I don't care if it's Look at this.
Yeah, you do.
I do not care if it's crashy.
Yeah,
Look at this.
You would be annoyed if you got crashed out of the cherry blossoms
so we're fast forward through this. Blah 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 blah. What do I look at the engine is better. So you remember this is a sword and sorcerer slasher where you're fighting. This is the bad guy, and you got to fight.
It does look beautiful.
Look at this.
Yeah.
Even if you never played the game.
I mean, I'm not so crazy about the sword part, but I like the blossoms and the bamboo leaves. There's something for everybody.
Oh, yeah. This is great. Now watch. I'm going to strike.
Oh, boy.
Blocking attacks.
Swipe to strike. Oh, nice.
Wow.
Do it again.
Do it again? Oh, he blocked me.
Scratch attacks. What a jerk. Oh, get him. Get him.
So you can see how. Now, it plays faster once
slash
you...
Slash again. Yeah. Slash. Slash. Did you die? No. Slash him.
Isn't it fun?
Yeah.
Don't you love it? All right, anyway, that's the game.
I like it.
Just gorgeous looking. It is a fighting game, sword game. It doesn't normally do all this. This is the tutorial.
It's just what it's telling you how to play.
Yeah, new in-game stuff. This is Infinity Blade 2. Just came out if you've been waiting for it. It's pretty spectacular, I gotta say.
How big? How big is the download?
It's pretty big. I
kind
think
of a
it's
guy?
probably a gig. Yeah, for Infinity Blade 1 was a gig.
So yeah, I mean, it's at least a
giant
gig then.
Yeah.
Because the graphics are real nice.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. So you have two
$6.99.
extremely different app caps.
Yeah.
A Charlie Brown Christmas for $6.99 or Infinity Blade 2 also for $6.99. Two lovely gifts for the holidays.
I won.
Slice somebody today. And with that, we're at the end of our show, Leo. As always, it was a pleasure.
Anyway.
Remember to subscribe to the show. If you can't watch us live, we'd love to have you live. And because you actually tell us what we're saying wrong while we're doing the show, which is very helpful. If you can't watch us live, just subscribe. twit.tv/IPT is the address. We have audio, video feeds, everything you could ever want to know is there, as well as show notes, and a comment section where you can add comments about what you liked and didn't like and ideas for other shows. And you can always write us at iPadaday@twit.tv. You can call us. By the way, I was going to start complaining that nobody ever calls us anymore, and I realized that our Google
Is it broken?
voice... Well, I think it was full. I mean, I just had never deleted anything.
Oh.
But there are just all these old voicemails. Well, it isn't anymore. It isn't anymore. Yeah, I'm sort of like, it's sort of weird that nobody wrote in to tell me that. But please call 757-504-IPAD, or you can always send us a video, upload that somewhere, send us the link. If you want us to see your smiley face, just don't video and drive. That's all we ask. And thanks so much.
I'm sorry.
We get people who are video... Okay, I've lost Leo to Infinity Blade, so I'm just going to go ahead and say goodbye, everyone. Thanks for watching. See you next week on iPad Today.
What?
Ow! Slice.
What she said.